JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 25. And in today's video, this is something I've actually been quite looking forward to uploading. This was a race or pre-season race I did a couple weeks ago now. There's been 4 in total for this upcoming GASR season. I've taken part in 3. The first one you saw was Bahrain, where I didn't even make it past turn 3, so didn't even really get a taste of that. So this time at Hungary, I would say this was really my first experience of having a trial run in a league race before the season starts. And these races, obviously the results are important, but you can learn a lot from doing 50% races against other competition. You can try out a lot more things in terms of the setup, the strategy and stuff like that, because nothing actually counts. So yeah, today we were definitely experimenting with a few things with the setup and the strategy, but overall I actually had a lot of fun driving this race. If you watched me live, it was quite an entertaining race, so I would encourage you to stick to the end. Hungary is a pretty good track for me. It's probably one of my stronger tracks for the qualifying, so I was actually fairly happy with this. And you can see going through here, this right-hander, this is a corner where I need to really improve. I was almost like half a tenth to like a tenth up, and then we've lost it all. So I'd say there was a good 1 to 2 tenths more in this lap. With a few little setup tweaks, I think we could gain even more time to be pretty close to pole position. But I know coming to this league racing season, that qualifying, I probably won't be getting many pole positions, but I think I really do need to maximise the qualifying. If I can be in the top 5 consistently, then I think we've got a very good chance of winning some races, and the ultimate goal is to win the championship this season. So obviously you have to be consistent as well. Learn a few things from previous seasons, and you can see that was a 14.8, was provisionally P2, so that was quite good. But there are still a few people who are going to be improving, and we ended up coming P4, less than 1.5 tenths away from pole. I was pretty happy with that. I think just for that mistake alone, we could have been pretty close to the pole position. So we're actually going to be starting on the hard tyres here. We've got 35 laps of this race, and it's very debatable of whether a 1 or 2 stop is faster. I think that really does depend on the track. I think for most tracks, you probably do want to be doing a 1 stop, because to make up a pit stop deficit, it's going to be pretty difficult. But for tracks where the tyre wear is quite high, and you have quite a lot of laps in the race, the pit lane is relatively short in terms of the pit delta like this, then I think 2 stops are definitely an option. But it also does depend on things such as traffic, how quickly you can get past cars, which you will see in this race. We do have a lot of overtaking we have to do. It was fun, but it also does show how much time it can cost you. So we managed to get a good start going up to P3, and if you're the 3rd man in the DS train in this game with the dirty air, it's really hard to get close to the guys up ahead. Pretty much everyone here is running maximum downforce, so very close to 50-50 wings. If you want access to my setups, this one, and setups I'll be using other tracks, make sure to click the join button, and I've actually uploaded all of my setups for you to try. Also, if you want me to critique any of your footage, any of your laps, or to speak to me directly, that is also the best way to go about it as well. But you can see towards the end of the stint, we were starting to get really close. So like I've been saying before, the way I do my setups are to give it the best balance possible. And you can see previous year's champion Suzuki pits fairly early, I would say. So now we've been unleashed into P2, and now the goal is just try and stay with Schumacher, stay in his DRS, and try and extend this stint as long as possible, because having fresher tyres in this game on the same compound, you can see we're starting to lose the car already. It makes a really big difference. So trying to extend as much as possible. So we're going for another 3 laps, and you can see we're got a bit of a distance. See, Schumacher's really struggling as well. Tyre wear indication is quite worn, and you can see we're having still a pretty good balance. So I decided to now actually pit, because if I went on even longer, you're just going to be undercutted so much. It's insane. So I was quite surprised Schumacher was going on, but you will see why he has decided to go on, because I can confirm now he was actually trying the 1 stop strategy, which for me is debatable if it's quicker or not. I think a lot of that depends on traffic, and you're about to see how much a big effect. So we're going on the hards again, because the plan is to go on mediums at the end of the race. So come out here, you can see there's quite a big gap. You can see they're coming out of turn 1, but with 3 to 4 lap fresher tyres, it makes an absolutely huge difference. But the goal now, or the crucial thing, is to try and get past cars as quick as we can. And coming up behind Meg the Face, I know I have to dispatch of him quickly, because if I stay behind him for another complete lap, that's probably around 2 seconds I'm losing a lap doing that. So we've got the DRS, you can see his battery light is coming on, and what we're going to do now is go down the inside, and there's a lot of trust in other cars here. He lets me go, and that was a pretty nice late braking overtake. The brake markable has actually been knocked off as well. But the issue now is now we're coming up to traffic, and round Hungary, there is pretty much nowhere to overtake apart really from the turn 1. It's the most realistic overtaking. So going through this middle sector, there's always a big risk doing that, and staying behind these cars even for half a lap here is costing me well over a second a lap, as K-Style actually decides to let me go. So that was pretty fortunate there. Me just saying thank you back in return. But now we're coming up to 2 cars, and this is the issue you have if you're going on a 2-stop strategy. It really depends what other people are doing, where you catch people, and whether there are 1 or 2 people together. If it was just one person, it'd be much easier to overtake. But when there's 2 people, so I'm the third man in the DRS train here, I've really got to get past Boz F1 going into this turn 1. And this is crucial. So what we're going to do is go down the inside again, so really launch it down the inside, making the apex, and with the extra grip, get that we've done. So yeah, we get that done pretty nicely, but the problem is, again, behind MLE Haynes, we are just losing time. So if we had clear air here and we could just overtake people in turn 1, we'd probably be gaining, I'd say, at least 1.5 seconds lap. So if you spend 2 laps behind cars, you've just lost 3 seconds already. So that's how much of a difference it can actually make. So if I want to make the strategy work, I've got the fresher tyres, and you can see we really are starting to close in on quite a lot of drivers here. And you can just see with that delta of the tyres how much faster we actually are. We have got to be making these overtakes. So Hungary is probably one of the hardest tracks to make a 2-stop work. It probably is the faster, well, I think not probably, it is the faster strategy, but you just need to not have as much traffic. And what I should have done here, I should have dived down the inside. This is what I should have done, extend the apex, tap at the back of him, and now this is probably going to be another lap behind a car we are significantly faster than. You can see the dirty air effect because my tyres are just so much fresher. So I have to spend another whole lap, and the problem is it's kind of like a caterpillar effect. The people in front of me have fresher tyres than the people in front of them, because it's always an undercut effect, and then you're just going to be catching groups of cars all the time. So going into this turn 1, I've got to get past Haynes into this turn 1 if I really want to make the strategy work. So go into this turn 1, dive down the inside. Luckily he does leave a little bit of room, and don't get that move done. So on this occasion, probably should have been a little bit more forceful, and you can see again with this traffic. So we have caught people, but if you want to make the strategy work with a fresher delta, you need to catch those people who've undercutted you, overtake them, and then try and stretch a gap out as much as possible, so that when they undercut you again, it's the undercut is not going to be quite as strong. But you can see kind of forcing us to go down the inside. So this is a big risk, and we get the apex. He has to go off track, has to concede the position, and that is a move up into here, because if I stay behind him again, we would just be stuck behind these cars. So going to Sar's corner, trying to get as close as I possibly can to Unique's here, who I think is actually trying to do a 1-stop strategy. So he hasn't even pitted yet, so we've got to make sure we overtake him. So going into turn 1, trying to do the move, but this time we are just a little bit far back, so just trying to force him into mistake, just put him off here. So again, if you don't get that move done into turn 1, you're going to have to wait another lap, and I would say 4 to 5 laps here is costing me probably up to 7 to 8 seconds in terms of the total race time. So it is absolutely crucial. You've got to be a little bit fortunate. It's kind of like if you're doing an esports event where you catch the AI. It's very dependent on where you're catching this AI, but you can see the group up ahead of me, these are the guys who pitted 3 to 4 laps before me, so I need to get right in the back of them, which I am now. The issue is, you can see Suzuki or Rene has actually pitted. I needed to be behind these guys probably 2 laps ago, get out ahead of them, break the DRS, and then once they pit, the undercut wouldn't be quite as significant. So yeah, we have caught them, but now they're going to get another undercut on us again, and then we're going to have to go through this traffic again. So, see, another pretty good move into turn 1. It gets a good exit coming through into here, so now going into the turn 2, go around the outside, trying to get the inside for this next right-hander. With the extra traction, get that we've done, and yeah, we've caught the people we need to catch. But then Suzuki, he's now going to pit, so if he caught him 2 laps earlier and then got past him, forcing him to pit early, it would have been much better. So now we're in P2, or now P1 of this race, because Schumacher is trying to do a 1-stop. So now we've got to extend this a little bit again, and in reality, in the actual league race, I probably would have pitted probably just the lap straight after them, just to negate the undercut, and the delta of the tyre still would have been good at the end. But I decided to just go a couple laps longer, because I really wanted to see how much more powerful the mediums were for another 2 to 3 laps. So again, this is the benefit of pre-season races. You can test these things, but in the real thing, and you saw if you watched my Brazil pre-season race, I will definitely be, not trying to overcut as much. Have a little bit of a tyre advantage is good, but you don't want to be undercutted too much. So we pitted about 3 laps later again, and you can see back into the traffic, and we have to do all of this work again. So yeah, a bit of time to make up, but right now again, if I was out in fresh air here, maybe pitted a lap earlier, I would have been another 3 to 4 seconds up the road. Now we've got 3 cars here that we need to try and dispatch. We cannot afford to be overtaking 1 car at a time. So this is probably my favourite overtake that I did, or series of overtakes I did in the race. You can see these 2 are really batting us out, so I just put myself down the inside, and with that superior grip, just managing to get way more traction than make the face, and then go around the outside of the Williams here, get the inside again, like I did on the previous lap. And now coming into here, we've got so much more battery, so much more straight line speed, and my teammate actually decides to let me go. So that wasn't so much an overtake, and that was quite beneficial there. So GG to my teammate on that occasion. And if we skip on to the end of lap 30, you can see how much time we actually gained for the rest of that lap. And the lap after that, we are already on the back of them again. So this just kind of just shows how much more pace you have on a faster tyre. Just need to get through this traffic. So we've got 2 cars again, so we've got to try and get both of these cars as much as we can. So using the overtake, and this Paco guy is really deploying the battery, and we're going to go to the right hand side, so he goes through the middle, and yeah, ideally trying to go around the outside of Uniques, and yeah, we've got superior traction, so if we can get both of these cars, this will be really good for a race. And he lets me go. You can see the gap up ahead is about 3.2 seconds, lap 32, and now we're in P6 of this race, but much faster tyres. So as we skip on to lap 33, you can see we've actually just closed that 3-second gap. So having 3 lap faster tyres, I was about 2.5 seconds quicker a lap. That's how much of a difference it actually makes. But I wasn't quite close enough to Rene, who was my teammate from the previous season. I was kind of hoping he would let me go, because that's what I was used to in the last year's game, but we weren't close enough on this occasion. We really needed to get that move done. That's really what we had to do. But now we've had to wait till last lap, and yeah, about to hear me say here now you let me pass. And yeah, I don't really know why I said that, because he's not my teammate in this pre-season. I don't know if he's going to be for the real thing. We do talk quite a lot outside of the racing itself, but yeah, because I didn't do that. And now this is the fight for the lead of the race. Going to the last lap, we are probably about 3 seconds, probably about 5 seconds a lap quicker than Schumacher, who's done a 1-stop. So again, if we could have got through, if we had 2 or 3 laps where we weren't behind cars, we would be another 4 to 5 seconds up the road. So it shows it is faster. And Suzuki is trying to go down the inside of the Mercedes. This Mercedes is doing a 1-stop, so his tyres are way older than mine. Red Bull tries to go around the outside, so then we try and follow him around this outside, try and get a podium in this race at least, and then we make a little bit of contact, and
cheers. What a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah, not too happy in the moment, obviously. In the heat of the moment, you're never going to be happy. And yeah, coming towards the end of the race now, we're now finishing a P9. But again, this is only a pre-season, and yeah, wasn't happy in the moment, but I can show you a bit of footage from the Mercedes here. We spoke after the race, He apologised, it's all good. He didn't do it deliberately. It was just that his tyres were so old, he understeered, kind of had to correct the car, and then unfortunately made a bit of contact. So all good. Those things just happen. But yeah, pace was there, 100%. And I think the two-stop is definitely the fastest strategy, despite Schumacher winning. But with that traffic, if you could have just got through a car or two a little bit earlier, that's how much of a difference it can actually make. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be uploading my Brazil race next. So if you watch that live, you know what's coming. That was a very good one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Click the join button to access all of my setups if you wish to speak to me directly as well. And I shall be catching you very, very soon. Peace.